So we've been talking about open doors, open hearts. Open doors, open hearts. And what we mean by open doors, open hearts, we're saying that as Christians it's important for us to offer hospitality and be generous in our affirmation. We must offer hospitality to people, and we must be generous in our affirmation with people. What is happening in our world is everybody has become very individualistic. We look into our own and we don't care about others. But that is in contradiction to the faith we've been called into. Our faith mandates us to affect people, to affect lives. Because the greatest thing we can leave on earth is our impact on lives. The greatest thing you can do is to impact others. You can have properties, you can have so many things in place, but those things will not represent you well when you are gone. Those things actually decay. They get destroyed. They are not able to hold our legacy. The best legacy to leave is to affect lives. Jesus, in 33 and a half years on earth, was able to impact lives in a way that after many years of being away from this planet Earth, we still have his influence here. Your legacy is in people, it's not in stuff, it's not in things. So you may be having the wrong priority by focusing so much on things and neglecting people, cutting people away from your life, whether they are family people, whether they are friends, whether they are colleagues at work. You have so much to do with people than to do with material things. And that is what Christians must focus on. And we can't do that without opening our doors and without opening our heart. Last week I said that one of the present day evils that we have is the walls we have around our homes and the gates we have in front of our houses. These walls and gates have become an enemy. Why? Because many years ago, when we were growing up and we lived in compound houses, we lived in places where there were no walls. People were not restricted. Anybody can walk into your house and eat. The children in your community will just come and play around your house. Today, you can just use your remote control, open your front gate, and drive out to go to work and drive back in without affecting the community. They don't even know you are there. Nobody goes to anybody. Your children are cut off from their children. And Christians cannot live like that because we have to make impact on other lives. So these walls must be invisible. We should be able to find a way to go over the walls to affect people. Well, we have the walls because of security and other things. Well, keep the wall, but make sure that you think beyond the wall. You don't box yourself in that home and keep your ideas to yourself. Because we are meant to affect other people. You were not made to live alone. We were not made to be alone. God made us so that we will not be alone. That is why he's created all these people we see. Everyone you see, they were made because of you. We have to love God and we have to love these people. We have to love everybody. Our lives is not about ourselves. I said last week that the greatest way to discover yourself is through people. The more you affect lives, the more you get to know who you are. We get to know ourselves by our connection with people and how we reflect. They are the mirror. They reflect our lives. You want to know you are patient, you are kind. It comes through dealing with other people and not just by yourself. So we need to focus on people. And we have to open our doors and we have to open our heart. And we do it through hospitality and generous affirmation. That's what we do. Last week, I talked about the big idea. Every one of them, I kind of bring something as a theme so you can look at. And that is the big idea. And what did I say the big idea is? I said the big idea is love has two movements. Anytime we talk about love, we see two elements. A movement of love. The first is love reaches out. Love reaches out. Love doesn't stay aloof. Love doesn't just stay on its own. It always crosses the line. Love reaches out. If you say you love someone, you must reach out. You don't say, oh, when they come to me, then I'll be nice to them. Oh, when they greet me, I'll respond. Oh, I'm waiting. I don't want to affect anybody. When they come to me, then no. You are not warm when you are waiting for people to come to you. You are only warm when you cross the line. And I told you about how God did it. He left his kingdom and he came to planet Earth. He took upon himself the nature of a man just to come and love us and affect us. Were we perfect? No, we weren't. Because the Bible says we were still sinners and he left his kingdom and came to us. If God had not come to planet Earth, we wouldn't have been able to see his love. So he crossed the line. The Good Samaritan crossed the line and went into what was supposedly danger for other religious people. He crossed the line, went to the man that had been beaten and dressed his wounds and made sure that he had been taken care of. Anytime we cross the line to other people, what we are doing is we are putting on the nature of God. We are affecting lives. So when you get to a place where there is a room divide, where people have separated themselves, those who know each other are talking, people are engaged to people they are familiar with, you look around and you realize that there are some people who are left on their own, who don't know anybody, who don't have confidence to talk to anybody. Those people are always sitting in the corners and they're sitting by themselves. They are the ones we need to discover and cross the line and go to them and befriend them. We have to reach out. Love reaches out. And it is hospitality. Hospitality is about reaching out. And somebody said, okay, then everybody should reach out to me and all that. No, hospitality is not for people who belong. We said last week that hospitality is about people who don't feel belong. If you are in your home, nobody has to host you because you are in your house. But when you are a guest, when you don't belong is when we host you. So what does hospitality mean for us? As Christians, we belong. We belong to the kingdom of God. And anybody who does not belong to the kingdom of God is a guest, and we have to host them. Our hospitality is not just for ourselves, but for people who don't know Jesus. We cross the line and make sure that they are brought in. They are hosted very well because we need them to become part of the kingdom that God has set into place. So that is hospitality. Our job is to reach out to the world. Anywhere you go, whether it's your office meeting, whether it is your school meeting, whether it is your community meeting, it doesn't have to be church. I want to encourage you that when you get to those places, look around and look at those who don't know anybody, those who are sitting on the fence, those who seem not to be engaged, and cross the line. Ask them what their name is, be nice to them, and befriend them. You are hosting such people, and it's an avenue to bring people to Jesus. Because everybody wants to be noticed. People want to be identified. And if you have that heart, you will win many. Those who have understanding will win many. We have to do that. We said the second league of love is not just to reach out, to cross the line. Love also draws in. It draws in. If we want to see your love at work, that love must be drawing something in. What it means by drawing in is welcoming people. Last week we said that welcoming is not just a handshake or words we say or write-ups on the wall. Welcoming, in other versions of the scripture we read, it says that you open your heart. You receive fully. When I say I'm welcoming you, it means that I am opening up to embrace you totally. Love will reach out and it will draw people into your heart. You have compassion. Jesus had compassion on people. You will receive people into your heart when love is at work. And these two things brings us to that place of hospitality and affirmation. Affirmation. So last week we dealt with hospitality. Let me not go into the details of it. Let me just focus on affirmation. I said that affirmation is the practice of speaking life into people who are starving for encouragement. There are people who are starving for encouragement. And when you affirm them, you have met one of the deepest needs of humans. Human being has a deeper need. And one of them is affirmation. We are all starving for affirmation. Do you know how people get to know you? Or how people focus on you? In a meeting, somebody showed me a trick many years ago, which I use very well when I get into the midst of people I don't know. They introduce big people to you, and if you want to get the attention, all of a sudden you go to one of them and you shake their hand and say, I've heard a lot about you. When you tell them I've heard a lot about you, their lights come on. What have you heard about me? In their head is like, woo, what have you heard about me, good or bad? And they want to have a private time with you to interrogate you, to find out what you know about them. And you begin to just shower on them some encouragement, some praise, some affirmation, and it changes their lives. Oh, I've heard good stuff about you. I heard you've done this, you've done that. Oh, you are a genius. You are this, you are a goat, you are this. And they are like, wow. And that is a bridge you build to connect to people you don't even know. Just making one statement that I've heard a lot about you, I know you, that alone opens the door. Everybody is crying for affirmation. Do you know the people that become your friend? The people who say good things about you. Nobody befriends anybody who says bad stuff about them, even when they know they are bad. They want people to say good stuff about them. So if you want to be able to reach out, you have to affirm people. In your dealings with people, affirm them, value them. Please, don't just tear people down. Don't let your words become words that destroy lives, but build lives. Generous affirmation is what Christians need to offer. I'll start by saying that one competition God endorses is affirmation. You know, competition is not a very good thing in certain areas. Sometimes competition is not healthy. Especially in material acquisition, when it comes to competition in those areas, you may kill. There are people who feel their friends have gone ahead of them and they don't even talk to them anymore. They are angry. Not because they've done something against them, but because they are getting on and they are not. They've turned the whole thing into a competition and it's not healthy. So it's not every competition God endorses, but one competition God endorses is affirmation. When you start affirming people, God says, go ahead, that is great, do it. In Romans chapter 12 verse 10 from the English Standard Version of the Bible, it says, outdo one another in showing honor to each other. Outdo simply means do much more than the others are doing. Outdo. Do more. When it comes to honoring people, when it comes to endorsing people, outdo one another. Outdo one another. Do much more than is expected. Make sure you honor people. It is important for us to learn that honoring people is God's will for us. We have to outdo each other when it comes to that. It is a competition. In this house, we should compete among ourselves. The person who encourages the most, the person who says things to endorse people, encourage people, build people up, the more we should compete among ourselves. That is what is expected of us. I have seen in the Japanese culture that nobody elevates themselves above the other. No matter how high somebody is in the Japanese culture, if a lower person greets them, they greet by bowing to them. And they respond by also bowing back. So you find people meet and they are all bowing and you don't know. If you bow, the other person bows. And if they want to honor you further, they bow again. And what do? You bow. So you can find them doing that for a long time. Until you stop. I'm not going to stop. Right? They all bow to each other. If we come to Ghana or to our culture, if you bow, I'll say, yeah, I'm the big man. I even want to step on you. You are beneath me, right? So when you bow, I'm the big guy. It doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't matter how rich or poor people are. We have to be able to accept them and affirm them. We have to know that all men are created equal by God. And it doesn't matter their status. We have to respect and we have to affirm. We have to honor people. And it's remarkable when God commands us to compete in the area of encouragement. It is, I think it's extraordinary. It blows my mind. We're looking for somebody who does it better. And that is God's plan for us, that we will encourage each other and say good things to each other. Everywhere you go in the world, you'll find people who are starving for affirmation. Everywhere. It's not just a particular culture. Everywhere. Everybody wants to hear good stuff. It's one of the most universal, unmet human needs. Every soul. When somebody affirms you, you open up. You smile without even realizing it. When somebody affirms you, all of a sudden you have special interest in them. When somebody affirms you, even if you don't know them, all of a sudden you are trying to be kind and good to them. You want to connect. It's a lifeline if you get affirmation from people. And I believe that as followers of Jesus Christ, we've been given an extraordinary strength and capacity to affirm people. Why are Christians given extraordinary capacity to affirm people? Because we know what it means that affirmation doesn't come because of we doing what is right, or we being right, or we deserving it. We know, we've experienced it, we've tasted it, that God affirmed us even when we were sinners. We have experienced the gifts of God, the grace of God. You know that you are not the most righteous person, but God still have interest in you. And no matter your shortfalls, no matter how down you are, God has always loved you and affirmed you. So you should have that understanding to be able to extend it to people. You don't do it to people because they are right or because they deserve it. We do it to people because that is our language. We must affirm people. We must affirm people. Some of us know that we are weak. We know we can't do anything. Then we hear the word of God that says that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Whoa, I can do all things. It's like Gideon being told, go in the power that is in you and overcome. He said, hey, I'm a mighty man of valor. You are telling me that as an angel, but if I'm a mighty man, why am I hiding? Grinding corn to go and eat with my family. He said, yes, you are. You feel like you are a failure. You are not a failure. You are a mighty man. Go and fight. God is not bringing something new. It's already in you. Go and overcome. Whoa, God, what are you talking about? You see, God has a way to speak to us. And he does it with affirmation. He does it by encouraging us, saying good things about us. And if we receive it, we should be able to share with other people. Christians, sometimes the way we talk is not encouraging. The way we deal with people, not encouraging. The way you deal with your subordinates, not encouraging. Even your superiors, not encouraging. The way you deal with people who you think are not at your level is not encouraging. And in the first service, I was citing an example. I was citing an example of how we speak to people and we use words that will tear them apart instead of building them. And we feel we're just saying what is supposed to be said. For instance, you may have children and you have a house help, what we used to call maid. Now it's not even called house help. Now it's called house manager. There's improvement. Then this house manager who was brought from the village or from somewhere, they don't relate to you. They are not your family members. They just came to work with you. They came to support. Your children may be in the house. They are not touching anything. They may be sleeping 8 a.m. And this house help gets up and is working at 6 a.m. And you're still going, what do you mean? I don't know, you only have 4. And you are just saying stuff to this person whilst your children are sleeping. Do they deserve it because they are house help and your children deserve a better language because they are your children? No, it's because of the way we speak. When we feel somebody is beneath us, we just throw anything at them. But Christians cannot do that. We cannot be insulting people. You can't be telling people, stupid, you don't have sense, you are not wise, you are this. You can't be saying that to people because it tears them down. Human emotion is such that they catch those words like magnet and it haunts them the whole day, especially if they value the person that is saying it. If they value you and you say, some of you are still here who still remember what your teacher told you, that your head was like a cement block and you don't know anything. That you are weak in maths and you cannot qualify, you cannot do anything, and still you still believe you don't know maths, you don't understand maths because your teacher said you don't. Words can go a long way. So be careful what you say to people. What comes out of your mouth should be scrutinized. The Bible says that the words of a Christian should be seasoned with salt. It must be seasoned. You can't just open your mouth and out of your depression tell people what you want to say. Or tell something you have not thought about. It should be encouraging. It should not be pulling people down. Say, oh, Pastor, what if I have to correct them? I'll talk about that. If you have to correct people, there's an appropriate language to use. Not things that will mess people up. Especially when you are dealing with sensitive people. You have to, because what happened to them, you are responsible by the words you speak. You can't say, oh, I didn't know that this will affect this person. You can't say that. Because in communication, you discover the right words to say so it can be understood and be helpful to the recipient. You can't just say anything. So we have to check the words we speak. I was reading the account. I was reading 2 Kings chapter 5, and it just clicked. I was reading the whole story. We know what the mainstream story is, but what got my attention was relationship. And I said, wow, what is the relationship happening here? We know that Naaman was a general in the Syrian army. And he was a powerful man, so close to the king. The king would not do anything without Naaman. But at a certain point, the Syrians went and conquered Israel and took slaves. And out of the slaves, they brought a little damsel, a girl. And the girl came to serve in the house of Naaman as a maid to Naaman's wife. She was in the house serving Naaman's wife. And the girl was bold enough to say to the wife of Naaman, your husband is suffering from leprosy. If he can go to my country, Israel, he can be healed. Whoa. A foreigner, a maid, pointing to the wife of the general, that the general of this land has leprosy. Well, who are you to say that? That he can find healing in my country. And when I read that, I was shocked. But what I deduced from that is the relationship that was between the woman and this maid that made her to speak out. There are some of you, when people see you, they shiver. They get frightened. And you think you are doing great. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. But there was a relationship that made this girl to come out of herself. Your husband can get healing. And now Naaman gets to Israel. He gets a letter from the Syrian king. He goes straight into the king's palace in Israel. And the king tore his clothes. He said, am I a God who can heal people? Who sent you here? I can't do this. But the news got to Elisha that he was tearing his clothes because somebody was upsetting him. And he said, direct Naaman, the sick man, to my house. When Naaman got there, this big general, Elisha decided he would not open his door and even get out of the door. He stayed within his door to build somebody or to tear them down. Every word that comes out of your mouth is on a mission. You cannot change somebody's destiny by the words you speak recklessly. You must be cautious of what you say. It's important for us to know that words are important. In the classical Greek mythology, if you read Greek mythology, you understand that they have so many things that sometimes you read and say, is this real? And it can be real. Some of them are fiction, right? So in this Greek mythology, they talk about a sculptor who was also the king of Syria, or Cyprus, the king of Cyprus. I beg your pardon, king of Cyprus. And this king, who was a sculptor, he hated women. He didn't like women. Every woman was his enemy. He didn't like women at all. But one day, people discovered that he had fallen in love with a woman. Whoa. This guy is not in love, madly in love with a woman. What happened to this man who hated every woman? Now he's in love with a woman. You know who he fell in love with? His own sculpture. He used ivory to design a woman. And he looked at what he had done. He said, this is the woman I would like to marry. This is the best woman on earth. But it's inanimate. It's not life. How do you marry this image? So he ended up praying. He went to his god, Venus, and started praying. Others say he went to Aphrodite, another god, and prayed and said, give me a woman like this woman. I want a woman like this woman to marry. And you know what the god did? The god said, instead of giving you a woman like this woman, I will turn that sculpture into a human being for you to marry, because that's what you love. So to them, it became a human being and they got married. This is something that people really work with. And in the area of psychology and other research work, they have an expression for that. They call it Pygmalion effect. The Pygmalion effect is something that really works. And let me tell you what it means. Let me give you a scenario for you to understand how this effect works. In a famous educational study that was done by some researchers, they went to a school, and in the school they targeted a particular class. And in that class, they look at the people, the students in the class, and they picked some of them randomly, maybe 5 or 6 students. Then they went to the teachers or the lecturers and told them this. The researchers told the teachers of these students this. They said, you know what? These students we have picked, they are late bloomers. They can get everything you are teaching, but from the beginning, it looks as if they are dumb. From the beginning, they are not intelligent. But whatever you are teaching, it takes time. By the end of the class, you realize that they are more scholarly than any other person in the class. Said, these people are slow learners. But it was a false information because they didn't even know the people. They just picked them randomly and said to the teachers, these ones, we have studied them, they can learn and get it better than any other person, but it's slow. It only shows at the end. And when they had said that, they left the matter to see what the outcome will be. At the end of the year, the people they pointed were the best in the class. Everybody was beneath their level. Why were they the best in the class? Because when the teachers heard that they were slow learners, they changed how they communicated with them. They didn't change the syllabus or curriculum. They didn't change any teaching methodology. All they did was they now changed their language towards them. If in the beginning they were always saying, oh, you stupid, you can't get this. Oh, so where is your intelligence? Now they change it because they have been informed, pre-informed that they can be better. So they are being nice to them. Even if they don't get it now, they'll get it later. Right? They changed the way they were looking at them and dealing with them. The approach and everything changed. And at the end, the researcher's prophecy came through. What do you think makes the difference? The difference is when we realize that what we speak to people has a way to transform their lives. Anytime you are speaking positively into people's life and not condemning them, not saying what you see, but saying what you want to see, you become part of their development process. You become part of what you want to see as an outcome. It's a journey. So it's not what you see. You know, Peter walked to Jesus, and he was called Simon. Reed, unstable. That was him, Peter. And he goes to Jesus, and Jesus said, you'll be called Peter. From being unstable, you become a rock. Jesus was speaking what he wants to see in Peter, not where Peter was. Because where he was a reed. He was Simon. He now said, you are Peter. So we'll call you Peter. We will not call you Simon. I've changed my language concerning you because I don't want to say what I see. I want to say what I want to see. And when it comes to God dealing with us, that is the encouragement God gives to us. He always tells us something that will lift us up and put us in a better place. If not, all of us would have been killed. God is a God that encourages people. When you tell somebody what God sees in them, you are not just flattering them. It's not flattery. It's encouragement. It's prophecy. It's saying good things about a person. You have a child that is always stubborn. Please stop saying, you are stubborn. You are always stubborn. You are stubborn. Because you are prophesying. I'm not saying lie, but you have a better language you can speak to that child and change their destiny. You are contributing to their future by the information you give. Let's look for opportunities and strike on it. Wives, look for opportunities and strike on it. Your husband doesn't attend PTA. He doesn't care about homework. He doesn't get involved in the children's life. Don't descend on him. You don't care. And you say things like that because he will continue not to care. All you have to do is just catch him one day teaching the child in a one-to-one something. Just taking the child through something. You capitalize on that. Oh, you are a very good man. Look at how the child is so happy. What you taught the child, he went to school and he got it, he was first. I love it when I see you teach the child. You are great, this is awesome. And you keep thanking him. You know what? By the time the child is coming from school the next day, he's already seated with a book and a paper. He's waiting to teach the child because that praise and that affirmation is a deep-seated cry in his heart that he wants to hear. When you praise people, they do much more. When you condemn people, they do less. Have you realized that with all our sins and everything we have done, that God needed to kill us, condemn us, finish us? He comes and he didn't focus on condemning us. He came to show us love. Love. You read the story of the prodigal son who took everything of his father and went and squandered it. He himself had guilt. He said, if I go, would I be accepted? But when the whole thing became hard, push came to shove, he decided, said, I will go. Even if they don't take me as a son, I'll be taken as one of the servants. And a servant's position is better than where I am. And when he was afar off coming in that radical lifestyle, recalcitrant, reprobate, a child that is out of hand, coming, I will send security men to send him away. I will make sure that he doesn't cross my wall. I told him, he didn't listen, and now he gotten what he deserves. That's what I would have done as a father, naturally. But the father saw from afar off. Apparently this father didn't have eyesight problem. He could see very, very far. Even at that age, spiritually, he could see him coming. And he said, hey, that comes my son. And he runs. Can you imagine a father running? He runs to go and meet him and embrace him. He kissed him. He brought him home. He gave him a ring. He threw a party for him. Wow. What the father was giving was not what he deserved. Affirmation doesn't go to people who just deserve it. It can be prophetic. It can shape people's life. It can be something you say to put people in a better position. Some of us, we don't know how to deal with our children anymore because they've gotten out of hand. We don't know how to deal with some colleagues and all those people. But affirmation can change the story. It can change the story. If somebody keeps stealing from you, what will happen if you make them the steward of what you have? Would they steal again? Because it will be very difficult. They are now responsible. When the thief becomes the watchman, it becomes very difficult to steal. You have a way to tell people things and it will change their lives. There are so many things I can talk about, but because of time. You need to understand that there are some people that were very bad, but the words of people really transformed their lives. People's confidence and hope in them and the things they said to them made them a different person. Nicky Cruz. Nicky Cruz went to a church building to go and steal. He was a radical guy, the one who wrote the switch and the cross blade. He went into in the community, everybody knew him. He uses knife, he has gang members, they killed, they beat people up. Even the pastor of that church he went to, that pastor had tried to preach to him before, and he beat him up and removed his shoes and threw away. And he appears in that church. The moment he appeared, everybody sat straight. Nicky Cruz is in the house. He's going to steal from every one of us. We are in trouble. And true, he removed his knife and started from the back seat. He gives you the offering basket, and he pulls his knife and show it to you. Then you put your offering in. You empty your pocket. You remove your rings, your wristwatch. You put it in. Then to the next person. You do it. He look at you. You know that evil is coming to you. And he did that from the back to the front. And while he was doing that, the pastor didn't run away. He was standing there. Oh, we are blessed to have Nicky Cruz visit us today. And he came with his team. We give God praise that he brought him to church today. He was saying good things about this guy. And he's still taking the money. And when he had finished taking the money, they knew he was going to go with the money. But you know what? Because of what he heard and the encouragement, he comes right to the front and put the money at the pastor's feet and said, this is for the church. The pastor was shocked because they've never received an offering like that in that church before. The people always sit on the money. They give just the penny. And now, by the help of Nicky Cruz, you will give 1 month's offering in that day, and including your watch and your mobile phones. He said, this is for God. This is for church. And you know what? He didn't just walk away. He sat in the front row, and he became a new convert and became a preacher. It's what we say. Please don't write people off. Don't condemn people. Affirm people. Because God's words can change people. Affirm. Treating everyone with dignity is what God requires of us. We should treat everyone with dignity. In 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 17, the Message Bible says this. Treat everyone you meet with dignity. Treat everyone you meet with what? Dignity. Don't be selective. Treat everyone. Children, adults, treat everyone. Even mad people. Treat everyone with dignity. That is what the Bible says. It is a non-negotiable thing. It doesn't say when they treat you well, also treat them well. Some of you that are saying, oh, you are nice to me, I'll be nice to you. That's not what the Bible is telling us. You don't become nice to people who are nice to you. It said treat everyone. Even those who are against you. Treat everyone. Your political opponents. Treat them. People in other parties. There's no conflict between NDC and MPP. We are all Ghanaians, isn't it? We have to treat each other with what? Dignity. Political affiliation should not bring a divide in the home. We should treat each other with dignity. There are some of them that are wise. One person is in MPP, the brother is in NDC. They say, we chop everywhere. we never lose power. They are wise. They know what they are doing. You treat each other with dignity. Have you realized that when you go to court and you have a case and your lawyer is arguing on your case, it's like they hate the other lawyer. It's like they are on your case and they are against the other person. And you know these lawyers, just wait for the court to be over. You go and find the two of them sitting in a chop bar eating fufu together. And then my learned colleague, hey, and they are cracking jokes. These same people who were fighting in the court. Because that is their profession. They don't take it personal. You have to treat people with dignity. Don't be quick to be angry and say things you don't have to say. It doesn't matter whether the economical background is weak. Ethnicity should not be a conflict. Lifestyle should not let us treat people differently. If you come from certain parts of the nation, you are not supposed to be belittled. Because you don't come from a place that is the place. Everybody is a human being. Treat everybody well. The moment you reduce everything to name calling, you start demeaning people. You start making people in public less than they're supposed to be. You're going to have troubles. And many of us are doing that. Some of us are cracking expensive jokes, demeaning people, reducing people in the presence of others. If you're a wife, you will never forget the day you went with your husband to somebody's house, another woman's house, and food was placed in front of you, and your husband is eating like he's never eaten for 20 years. He's shoving everything into his mouth and says, oh, this is nice. You know how to do this. I like it. I like it more than what my wife does. I'm telling you, you'll never eat again. Because that day when she gets home, she'll tell you, go to that house and eat what you enjoy. Not in this house. You cannot be demeaning people, disgracing people. You can't say things like that. You can't say things like that. You cannot rubbish your wife because you've seen your girlfriend. What nonsense is that? And you finish and you go back home. What kind of generation are we in? See, some of these things we do, and some of you cannot keep your mouth shut. You say things you don't have to say. You say it was a joke. Nonsense joke. Joke that is affecting me. Hey, now say the one from Israel. What kind of nonsense is that? Even if you know they are suffering from AIDS, it's not your responsibility to say it. It's not your duty. We must be sure the words that come out of our mouth are worthwhile. Don't say things that are outside your boundaries. Social media has become a place full of beef and unnecessary fight. When somebody does something to you, instead of talking to them, you go and write on social media. Some of you, when we read your social media, we know who you are talking about. You take the pastor to social media. Pastor, talk about your own. You don't even say pastor. Some people are preaching about others. What about themselves? We say things. We say things. I was reading a social media article, and it was a lady that was fighting another lady because they said she doesn't do the right thing. And she said, and Cameron sem do the medini in asu. Nye drama me boa. And Camedini in asu. I follow everything, but I couldn't in yame. So also dear be mensa. You are a thief. You are a gossip. But you know what our society is? When they find the thief, the adulterer will go and fight that and say, you are a bad man. And when the adulterer is caught, the thief will say, you are a bad man. We are all accusing each other. We should learn to speak, to lift people up and not to put them down. I was talking about Pastor Prince. We were going through members of the church, and a new person that joined the church has stopped coming to church. And I said, Pastor Prince, what happened to this person? This was on Friday. And Pastor Prince told me, he said he has stopped the church because when he comes to church, he doesn't hear you preach strongly against sin. Hey, what does he want me to preach strong? Sin strongly. I'm preaching. Sin strong. What is that? Said he doesn't preach strongly against sin, and he doesn't talk about aggressive evangelism that everybody should be on the street preaching. I said, all this series we are doing is about evangelism. Because the people out there, when you tell them they are going to hell, they will say thank you because they don't like your words. When we used to preach fire and brimstone, people didn't get saved. Even God preached about love. Love is stronger than condemnation. So why do you want to condemn people? Some of our people get fun of condemning people, but they don't look at themselves. Going and just blasting people because they are wearing trousers. They've used lipstick. They've done their hair. And you are blasting them. You think you feel good. Meanwhile, you yourself, you are not in good standing. What is stronger than the love of God? It reaches every hole, everywhere, and lifts people up. When the love of God reaches you, you'll never be interested in sin. It is mindset. Some people have been brainwashed. So it's mindset. How do people feel when they leave your presence? How do people feel when they leave your presence? Are they craving to come back? Or they tell themselves never again? When people panic when they see you, ask yourself, what am I doing to them? What am I saying to them? How am I treating them? When we were growing up, our parents used to have an eye. They can look at you in such a way that if they had beaten you, that would have been better. Some of you, you have an Orwell's eye. You look at people and you spell evil. People don't feel comfortable around you. I'm not saying let them feel comfortable and forget what they have to do, but know that you are shaping their destiny. What do you say? When people leave your presence, do they go to grieve, cry, panic, or they go saying, I'm looking for opportunity to talk to him or her again? It's your responsibility to think that, not their responsibility. Don't say, I said what I have to say. If they can't handle it, it's their trouble. They can't handle it. You are destroying their life. They can't handle it. Everybody is sensitive. We have to meet everybody at the point of their need. If God was to reach every one of us the same hard way, nobody would have been here. God reaches us at the various levels of our need. He gives you what your need is. My last point to sum up is the rule of words. Words have rules. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 29. The NIV says, this is a rule of the words you speak. It says, do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up, according to their needs. According to what? According to what? Your needs? It's not your need. So don't say I'm saying my peace of mind. According to their needs. And our needs differ. Some needs are better. Some needs are in between. So look for their need. If you are speaking to babies, give them baby's meal. Their need is different from an adult. So according to, do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouth, but only what is helpful for building others up. You are building them up, building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. It will benefit those who listen. This is a decisive standard. God has set the standard. Only say what the people need. Only say that. Not what you need to say. What they need is what you have to say. You need to hear, they need to hear words that will build them and not tear them down. I believe that our culture, them. You're going to tear them apart. And I've seen some of them come to my office, and after talking to them, I tell them, God loves you, and He cares about you, and He will take you through this. And just putting a hand around them, they break into tears. Tears of joy. That at long last I've been able to tell the pastor, I've opened up and they didn't reject me. They've accepted me. Because society itself will reject you. And you expect the church to do the same. But when the church comes through for you, sometimes you are amazed. You are amazed. If I tell you the sort of things that happen in this church that we don't suspend anybody. There have been times when I've been angry and I've said to my leaders that I'm going to stand on the pulpit and announce this. And they say, Pastor, you can do that. Please, please. Let's be gracious. Destroying people doesn't bring any results. Sometimes we have to be people that affirm people. Speak to them and say, when they are wrong, we have to say, we have to correct them, but we correct them in love. We use the right words to correct them. Finally, I want to say that the size of your love, the measure of your love is determined by your hospitality. You say you love people, let's see how you host people, your hospitality. Do you cross the line? Do you draw people in? That's the measure of your spirituality. The measure of your love. If you love people, draw people in, cross the line to people. Some of you people offend you, say, never again, I will not talk to him, I'll never meet him. You see them come and you take the other side. Where is the love? Love will draw in. It crosses the line and draws in. Over my dead body is not love. I'll never agree, it's not love. I'll never speak to him again. I'll never speak to her again. It's not love. Because you are not crossing the line. And I'm not talking about believers, unbelievers as well. So that is the size of your love. What about your faith? The size of your faith is known by your ability to encourage and not criticize everything. Some of you, criticism is at home with you. Everything you see the negative before you see the positive. I'm a pastor, and let me be frank with you. By nature, I wasn't somebody who encourages people. I was a critic. My father, whatever he sees, he will say it. You tell him something, he'll go and tell the person as it is. And he said, oh, you can't say that. I said, I'm somebody who says it as it is. That is my nature. But becoming a pastor for many years, I realized that it doesn't help people. So I have to adjust my life to encourage people. And when I adjust my life to encourage people, I draw more people to myself than repel them. Sometimes you ask yourself, why are these people around pastor? Why are they drawing? Because I've learned how to encourage. I'm not affirming wrong, but I've learned how to. It's a process. You learn it and you draw people to yourself. Because that's what people want. So let's realize that criticizing everything is not of God. The church has to be a place where people are affirmed, and believers have to be people who consistently lift others up. If you're a believer at your workplace, when everybody is crying, when everybody is giving up, you should lift people up. You should affirm them. You should stand with people. And if we can do that, we have opened our doors, we have opened our heart, and we are honoring people. So let me give you an assignment for the day, for the week. I'm done. your assignment for the week. This week, how many of us are ready for the assignment? I don't think those in the Bible class, the ordination class, don't want any assignments. They have enough. Right? But every one of us, the assignment for us this week is make sure you send an affirmation, a positive message. Do a voice recording. Do a text message. Send a message to 3 people to affirm them this week. Deliberately. Don't let them cross your line before. Think about them and step into cross the line to them and affirm 3 people. I know you are busy. 3 people. 3 people. Do that. 1, it can be somebody at your workplace who is doing the right thing, but nobody is acknowledging it. They keep doing their role. They are there on time. They do what they have to do. We are always blasting those who don't do well, but they are doing well. Send a message to appreciate them. Tell them, I see what you are doing. You are doing the right thing. I'm so grateful that you're doing that. Even if you are not the boss, send them that you are an inspiration for what you are doing. They don't have to be a Christian. They can even be Malam. Send them that message. Encourage them. You see that when they hear the message, they will be your friend. They will call you. You are building a bridge to bring them to Christ. Number 1. Number 2, it can be a family member that is struggling in life. It's like, you know, but you send a message and say, I see what you are going through. I'm praying with you. I know you will come out of this. God will show you his goodness. Encourage somebody. Send a message like that. A family member. It can be somebody in church or somewhere who is doing something and nobody is appreciating them for it. Hello? Send a message. There are so many people who are doing the right thing. There are so many people in your community. Some of you have not taken time to thank your wives. You've not taken time to thank your husbands. Send them a message. Say, I appreciate you. You give me less trouble compared to what others do. I know what others are doing to their spouses. You give me less troubles. Thank you. And that alone make them light up. They will do much more. So let's do that. Our prayer is God should make our mouths an avenue to encourage people, to bless people. It should be a device to bless people, not to tear people down. Are you hearing me?